I will tell you, I'm going to be playing this with the Xbox One controller. I do have a racing wheel setup type thing, but it's actually very difficult for me to use that while streaming because it's almost impossible for me to pay attention to chat and stuff like that when I'm in that setup. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised by what I've seen of this game so far in terms of its controller support. I know a lot of these games that tend to lean more towards the simulation side of things can be really sketchy with the controller, but my experience thus far with the game with the Xbox One controller has been pretty positive. So I think we're actually in pretty good shape using it. But what I thought I would do, just to kind of get things rolling today, is just do a quick race to kind of warm up, and then hopefully do reasonably well in that, and then head on into career mode, where I am just getting started in the first career contract with go-karting. So we can kind of work our way up from the ground up. I will say it's going to take me a little while to get used to the feel of this game. It definitely sits in a weird space kind of in between something like Grid Autosport and Assetto Corsa. It's not quite as simmy and as hardcore as Assetto Corsa in terms of the handling and physics and stuff, but it's definitely not as simcade-ish as something like Grid Autosport. It definitely leans more towards the simulation side of things than, say, that game, for example. So as you can see, we've got oodles and oodles of tracks to pick from, and we've got oodles and oodles of cars to pick from. But just to kind of keep things simple and sane to start out, I'm going to start with a track that I know pretty well, that being Brands Hatch, and a car that I think I have a reasonable chance of handling, being this Renault Clio. So, without further ado, let's get into the racing. Also, apologies if my mic sounds a little weird today. I had a problem with the headset that I normally use, and I'll look to get that fixed for next stream, but hopefully this won't be too different than what you're used to.
Let's slide past the pole man and slip across to the inside for the first corner.
That all sounds good to me.
Green, green, green.
Probably shouldn't have goosed the throttle there on that first turn. That was probably a little bit overzealous. Oop, contact. My bad. Go ahead and see if we can establish a bit of a lead here. No touchy. The no touchy zone. Don't hit me, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know you want to. Don't do it. Take the inside on him. Oh man, too much braking. Way too much braking there. Mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. And that's a good example right there of how the handling in this is much different than something like Grid Autosport. In that game, that much braking would not have screwed up my handling as badly as it did there. It would have been a lot more forgiving, but I locked up the wheels with that excessive braking on that turn, and basically sent me careening off into oblivion. So you definitely have to be a bit more careful in a game like this. Oop, oop. Come on now. There we go. Yeah, you cannot get excessive with the braking because things will just lock up on you, and you're very unlikely to recover if you let things get out of hand, like I did just there. There's definitely a tipping point that you just can't cross. because if you do, you'll never get the car back. And the tipping point is different depending on what kind of car you're driving, of course. Track conditions and weather and all that sort of thing. So you really have to get a good feel for the course car condition combination.
Cover the inside line in the braking areas.
No, that's a good idea. I think I might do that. Thanks for the pro tip. I'm just salty because I screwed up and lost a bunch of positions. It's not Radio Guy's fault. I know. He's just trying to be helpful. Let's see if I can take this turn a little better this time. Not fail quite so epically at it. That was much better. Mistakes are fine as long as we improve and learn. And I really got off the throttle there, but I just wasn't able to hold that turn. We're definitely going to have to rerun this race because I'm not going to let this finish stand. Yeah, no, that's not acceptable. I think we can do better. But it just goes to show how tough this game can be, that you can make a few little, what would be in a lot of other racing games considered very minor mistakes, and this game will just utterly not show you any quarter for making said mistakes, even in these kind of lower end cars. They'll have to obey the laws of physics and the rules of driving in a way that a lot of other racing games just wouldn't hold you to, which, is the good, kind of bad thing about the game, depending on what you're looking for. If you want that challenging and ultimately more satisfying driving experience, then a game like this is what you want. But there's a price to be paid for that, in that you're not just gonna smoke everybody out of the gate and be incredible the first time you drive in this game. At least that hasn't been my experience. And that's talking as somebody who's played an awful lot of racing and driving games over the years. That was much better. See if we can catch this guy. Man, that turn just keeps catching me out every time. Just when I think I have it worked out, it surprises me. See if we can salvage a podium from that spin. But as you can see, the AIs are not immune from error, which is a nice, refreshing kind of thing to see in a game like this. It's really frustrating when you see the AIs just driving perfect lines constantly and never making any mistakes. It just makes you feel like there's no margin for error for you, which A, is very unrealistic, and B, just isn't very fun. So I think they've done a good job of making the AI in this game challenging, while still being a little bit merciful in a way that makes for better gameplay.
Okay, we've got a little bit of pressure from the guy behind, so maybe time to start covering the inside line.
I'm not worried about the guy behind, buddy. I'm worried about passing this guy right here. He should be worried about the guy behind him. Of course, maybe his guy is telling him the same thing. Maybe our wires got crossed. Maybe I got his message. That's probably what that was about. Because I just took his place. Alright. Keep working on this turn. Because we're going to run this race again, but I want to get this turn down. Oh man. Too much brake. Too much brake, but I saved it. That's what it is. You can only give it so much brake in that turn, or you just lose it. You get too happy. Brake too much. And this guy really wants his position back. He's gonna get it too, because I can't hold that line. Oh, and there's the guy they warned me about. Oh, and look at all his friends. That's disappointing. But that was still an improvement over the first race, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, slight improvement over the first race. I think one more time. Let's give it one more chance, and I'll feel sufficiently warmed up to go back to career mode. Because honestly, I'm probably not ready for this kind of racing just yet anyway. I probably need to stay in karts for a little longer.
You can do it.
So this is probably a little bit beyond what I should be doing anyway. I just wanted to at least start things off in a car, albeit a fairly slow and unexciting to most car. I will say these Clios are pretty fun. Oh, come on. Come on. I realize I did a little late braking there, but that was... Oh, I misread that badly. Misread that situation badly. This guy's going to be very upset with me. Going to be very, very upset with me. He's going to yank me out of the car and beat me to a pulp. Race is over. I guarantee you I just gave him whiplash. Fortunately, this isn't GTA, so he can't actually do that, but I know what he's thinking right now. Thinking about how he can wreck me into the wall if he can catch me. This increases my motivation to keep moving forward through the pack. I don't want to deal with that guy that I rear-ended if I can help it. Alright, now we've learned some things about this turn. See if we can apply what we've learned. That was very good. That was much better. I think my braking was just really excessive when you get down to it. I was getting on the brakes way too hard in that turn in those earlier attempts. A similar problem in that turn, although I think I kind of automatically...
This guy's right on your gearbox. See if you can pull a trick on him and slow down in the middle of the last corner and try and punch away onto the straight and break the slipstream.
Nope. That was nicely detailed and friendly advice there, but not really anything I could do. Obviously mistaken me for a far more competent driver, radio guy. Ooh, rumble strips, rumble strips. That's alright, we got our place back though, that's good. And I don't think that was the guy I rear-ended, because he was in a darker car, so... That's also good. Oh, come on now. Come on now. Oh, I think angry guy might be right behind me. Now I'm scared. Now I'm scared. I can get around this guy. Get a barrier between us. If I late break this turn, I might... I gotta get around you, buddy. This guy's trying to kill me. Hope you understand. I have needs. Oh, getting into the rough. Getting into the rough. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Go, 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 go. Yeah, any more than a tap on the brakes there and you just completely blow that turn. Come on, inside, inside. Nice. Let's see that. I like that. I like everything about what just happened there. Ah. Had to get off that, I was giving it everything I had on that turn, but I probably needed to get off the throttle a little bit more than I did, and I would have been able to actually hold the line. Still a pretty decent finish, though. 6th. I'd really like a podium. I'd really like a podium if I could pull it off. I think I'm right on the bubble. Let's see if we can manage a podium before I move on to career mode.
Green, green, green.
That first turn really catches me out because that inside line is really not ideal. It's really not where you want to be. So if you can't beat the guy off the pole, off the start, and take his line away, you're actually in a pretty rough spot. Oh, come on, car. Alright, fine. I'll play your game. I'll play the waiting game. The waiting game kind of sucks, as The Simpsons have told us. Alright, I don't think I want to actually try to force the issue here. I just want to get into a good position. I actually have plenty of time to get around these guys, so I don't need to be ridiculous about it. To stay in striking distance. Wait for a better part of the track to pass on. I think I just got nudged. Actually, that leader is pulling away a bit, so I am going to have to push it.
See if you can take that guy in front of you, otherwise just bring it back in one piece.
Lost some ground there because I couldn't get my preferred line through the turn. Alright, I might have a shot at second here. Might have a shot. See if I can get a good run on him to this next straightaway. Probably cut him off a little bit there, but alright. Didn't hit him. So we'll take that. Don't think first gonna be in my reach here, but we'll try for it. Oh, don't freak out on that turn. Don't do it. Ugh, he almost did. Almost lost it there. I was about a millimeter from breaking loose there. I think I managed to hold a pretty good line through there. I think I should be okay for second. I think they're going to get around me in time. Nice.
Great driving. See you on the podium.
Nice. Ooh, feeling pretty good about that. I think that deserves a replay. Let's see how the replays in this game look. I haven't actually checked them out yet. Let's see just how offensive our driving was. Yeah. That initial line on that first corner was pretty terrible. I'm lucky I managed to get back in there with so little contact. That poor guy. That poor guy just got in my way. Now, having done those two horrible things right from the beginning of the race, I actually think once I got around that bad turn there, I think my driving was actually pretty good for the rest of this race for the most part. But let's see what the replay says. I feel like after those first 3 turns, I kind of steadied out a little bit and got a little bit better. Some nice camera angles in these replays. Attractive and also useful from the standpoint of looking at racing lines and positioning relative to other cars. So I'd say these camera angles are pretty good. They're panning at just the right moments. They're kind of showing you the parts of the track that you want to see and the relationship between the cars and their relative position and such. Pretty good. Pretty good camera angles on these replays, for sure. Alright, I think this lap 2 was a pretty good lap. Let's see how I take this first turn, these first 3 turns relative to how I did on lap 1. So kind of clipped that, but with no traffic around me, that was much less offensive. Pretty solid. Yeah. I wanted to see if I actually did cut this guy off making this move here on the inside on this next turn. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I tapped him out. That was kind of ugly. That was pretty ugly. Yeah, that wasn't nearly as clean as I thought it was. Get another look at me almost botching this turn. This was almost a major meltdown. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh man. Things got kind of hair raising right there. That was good. At least that was a decent recovery. I'll give myself that. I didn't let the fact that I almost wiped out ruin the rest of my run there. Alright, yeah, that was pretty cool. Definitely got a lot of work to do though. Definitely a lot of things I could have done better in that run for sure. Alright, let us head over to career mode, where like I say, we are in go-karts at the moment, because by my driving, that's probably where I belong. Let's be realistic. Alright, so I've actually been doing pretty well in this go-kart series, hence my pole starting position. But I don't know if I've actually raced on this track configuration yet, so this may go poorly. We may need to do some retries here, depending on how things. Actually, I think I have seen this track before. I just realized. I think this is another event on the last track that I raced on. Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely been on this one before. Ooh. Terrible laps there. Alright. Oh yeah, those are tires. Those are tires. Alright, we're definitely redoing this race, so let's just try to get a little practice in. I find that it's always a good idea to try to finish, even if you know you're going to redo the race, because then you just get that many more turns in and that much more familiar with the track, because you just reset every time you screw up, then you don't get any real experience on the track, and you just end up screwing up the next turn instead of the one that you reset on. Gonna be dead last in this race, but that's okay. Trying to build some familiarity with the track. Go ahead and read that. Like it never happened. Oh man, that chicane messed me up badly there. Yes, I pretty much am drifting these go-karts. That's what's happening right now. Sorry, buddy. Actually, I'm not sorry, because most of these guys are pretty much jerks. So you're probably noticing there's some stuttering and some frame rate and some like sound clipping and stuff that I'm getting here. I'm pretty sure that's an issue with the game and not my machine, because it seems to be happening regardless of the settings that I use. Like I've had it all the way from low settings all the way up to ultra, which is what it's on now, and it doesn't seem to affect that stuttering issue. So I think that's honestly just something that probably needs to be addressed in the game, maybe in a future patch. It's not too terrible, but every once in a while it'll hit at a really inopportune moment and kind of screw up your rhythm. But kind of just trying to work around it for the moment. It doesn't seem to happen too often, but when it does, it's very noticeable. Let's see, where did that put me? That was an improvement, but we can definitely still do better. Let that stand. Oops. Sometimes when you push down on the analog stick to select the next menu item, if you don't like fully commit to it, it'll flick back up. And I think that's just the force of the stick going back to center. Maybe carries it a little far up, and it registers as up input, so you end up having the menus react oddly sometimes. The guy really is aggressive. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna I'm not going to really learn anything from finishing that way. I'm just going to restart that because I really need to practice that first set of turns. At this point, I feel like that's where my weak spot is. Yeah, this little S turn here is wicked. Wicked. It's real easy to get the cart loose, for sure. And you got guys tapping you out from behind, which doesn't help. Ooh. Ooh, mama. It's so easy to just ram into people in these things. It's really hard to A, avoid the temptation to do it, and B, just to stop yourself from doing it completely unintentionally. Oh man, I got squirrely there on that grass, and then I think I got tapped on top of that, and that was enough to pretty much end me right there. There's some more of that stutter again. And you can hear and everything cuts out, so it's like the whole... It's not even like the engine is dropping frames, it's like the engine is literally like locking up or seizing up and then recovering. Kind of weird. I swear it might even have something to do with the vibration on the controller, because I'm noticing that like the controller, it's almost like it's getting the vibration signal spammed to it, because even after the race ended there, it kept vibrating for a good, 5-10 seconds. And I'm wondering if those pauses or those stutters in the game are a consequence of the force feedback being mismanaged on the controller or something like that, because it seems like the stuttering occurs whenever the force feedback on the controller starts to go really crazy for a sustained period of time. Yeah, I wonder if it's like a physics collision thing too. Like maybe the rumble is like a side effect, but it actually seems like when you collide with other vehicles, either you hitting them or them hitting you, that also seems to bring out the stutter a bit. And maybe that's something that they're not detecting in testing because all their testers are driving so cleanly that they're not seeing a lot of collisions. Not sure what to make of that, honestly. It seems like something you would detect pretty quickly in testing, but maybe if they're just that much better at driving than I am, they're not hitting enough stuff to make it happen. Certainly a possibility. Definitely getting a better handle on this course, although that turned up pretty royally. I thought that this was the left dive. It's really the next one. It's still better though. Still a much better race. I definitely feel like I can do a podium though, for sure. So I'm gonna stick with it till I get that. I don't necessarily need to be first, but I feel like I have it in me to do a podium here. See if I take away the inside line from that guy. Oh man, he just checked me out. That was not cool, bro. Really not cool. He's just like, I don't care if you're trying to maintain a line, I'm just going to ram right through you. Now, in his defense, I was going kind of slowly there, but... took that wide, I was able to capitalize on that. Fortunately, I don't think we're going to get our podium here. Fourth is looking like a pretty reasonable possibility. I hate cutting like that, but it's kind of seems like almost the way you have to run that section. Oh man, I that way too side. Oh man, that was a terrible turn. Oh, how could I not get penalized for that? That was awful. I just completely ignored a turn there. Ugh. Yeah. You know, even if I'd have gotten the podium there, I wouldn't have been able to accept that in good conscience. Click on it. That menu thing when you flick the stick is kind of annoying sometimes. Okay. Try that again. I feel like the go-kart stuff is actually surprisingly challenging for a lot of different reasons. Not the least of which being that you're so low to the ground that it's kind of hard to see what's coming ahead of you. But also just the way the cars handle and everything, it's surprisingly unforgiving at times. You really have to be on your game and doing what you want to do with the car at all times. Like, you can't rely on the car's ability to save you if you screw something up. And I guess that's why this is a good series to start with, because it kind of forces you to be better than you might otherwise be. Oh, bad. I think I just wrecked that guy out, but did get in my way, if I'm being honest. Oh man, no, 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 no. It looks like he reclaimed that position, so feel too badly now. We're gonna get second here. I will take that. I probably didn't deserve first there, to be honest. Alright, good. Continue from there. Okay, so that bumped us down to second overall, but that's fine. This is like a rolling start. Way too hot. Way too hot. Too much on the brakes. That was better, but still not ideal. So I think I just got second on this one. Oh wait, no, this is a 3-lap race. Right. That's usually the format too. I probably should have anticipated that being the case. Oh, contact. That's going to cost me a lot if we have to rerun this.
Okay, mate, your teammate is in P3. We're looking good for some championship points.
I have a teammate? Who knew? Alright, we can definitely do better than that. Especially now remembering that that is in fact a 3-lap race. Didn't start that. Rolling start. Oh, come on, man. Ugh, terrible. Thing got squirrely on me right out the gate. Couldn't save it. I guess the game got offended by my Sega reference. It's like, this is no arcade game. I'm gonna wreck you out for doing that. Sorry, sir. Won't happen again. It's hard to hold that corner. I've figured out the right combination of throttle and turn there. I know it's warning me about cutting those corners in that chicane, but I feel like that's kind of how you have to do it. Oh my goodness! What are you doing, game? Guy was trying to murder me. You guys see that? Guy tried to murder me just for trying to make that turn at a reasonable speed. That's gonna do it for me. No way I'm catching up. Ow, quit it. Another practice on this turn here. Okay, so you kind of have to hang it out wide at more throttle. It seems like that's the way to handle it. Still having trouble with that one though. Trouble with that one. Oh well, let's start because that's over. Got like two turns on this track that I'm kind of having a little trouble with, and they're both pretty close to each other. So it seems like my problem starts on the one and then multiplies on the next one. Yeah, the excessive braking thing can definitely get you into trouble. It seems like most of the time when I lose control or have like a real issue, it's because I've braked a bit too much. Like you're way better off just braking a little bit and then slamming it into the corner and letting your momentum carry you more often than not. Which is definitely more realistic, but again, if you're accustomed to the way a lot of more arcade racing games work, it definitely takes a little bit to wrap your head around it. Oh, those hurt. That hurt a little bit. That'll rattle your jaw out of your head.
Okay, we're looking good out there. The teammates now to P4. That puts us in a good championship points position.
Wheels, tires, whatever. Not helping me. And even that's probably a little too much braking. That's this guy. Ah, not quite. Yeah, we definitely need a podium here. I think anything less than that's not going to cut it. Not for me. And I guess to be clear, I could have started with any racing discipline I wanted, but I kind of wanted to start at the bottom and work my way up, which is why I'm starting with this kart stuff, because I feel like I don't consider myself to be that good a driver that I can just skip over things, and I also kind of want to get the most out of the game in terms of the career mode, so I want to like explore all these different racing disciplines and really
Teammates in second place. We're looking good out there for some points.
Ooh. Try to get as much out of it as I can. Tried to slow down there a bit more than I wanted to, but at least I took those turns relatively well. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh man, the braking is just murdering my time. Yeah, that was terrible. I gotta get the confidence going through those turns at higher speed because I'm feeling compelled to brake much more than I obviously have to, and it's actually hurting my performance. I'm over braking in those turns. I guess I've just got to be willing to eat the wall if I underbrake, just until I find the sweet spot. Ow, quit it. Not the sweet spot. Why? Although that was interesting because I was able to turn in very quickly there, even at a relatively high speed. Certainly much more quickly than I thought I would have been able to with that much momentum. So I think I maybe just don't fully understand the turning dynamics of these karts. Like, I think I'm assuming that they can't turn at speed as much as they actually can, and that's probably why I'm not doing well. I'm just gonna have to fiddle with it a bit until I get the right flow on the brake and turn. Man, as soon as you get off a little bit, it just really makes you pay. Okay, all right. I think I'm starting to see it. Starting to see how I need to swing this. It feels very wrong, like in the back of my caveman brain. It just feels like I'm not braking enough. But I guess I gotta just trust the machinery to be able to do what it needs to do. There's definitely a tipping point where you skid out or where you spin out too, so it can't be all turning. At a certain point you just kind of lose traction and fishtail. So there is some subtlety to it. Not just about chucking it in there. There's a fine line. I think that was second. Okay, so I will take it. Yep, I'll take second. I'm fine with that. Woohoo! I did something! I did something else! Although it looks like the same thing. Okay. Am I not supposed to be hitting A here? I guess I am. Okay, cool.
This is where contract offers, invitations, and messages from your team will appear. It looks like you have a welcome message from your team.
Cool. Thank you, nice lady.
This tab shows results from every motorsport in the career calendar. Here you can track your race results and standings in your current series, view results from previous events you've raced in, and see results for all the other motorsport races that are happening in the world.
Thank you, nice lady. Yeah, I think I'm at the bottom of the barrel here in the kart racing. So actually, this is good because I guess these are listed in order of difficulty or prestige, I guess, maybe? I'm surprised. I was under the impression that GT3 was a more prestigious cup. Formula A. B. I mean, they're definitely not listed alphabetically, but I'm not familiar enough with all the different racing leagues represented here to know if these are actually listed in terms of prestige or not. Guess we'll find out. Okay, cool. Doing stuff. Bars are filling up. That's always encouraging.
Welcome to the world of kart racing. This is where many successful racing champions started out, and a great place to learn the basic principles of competitive racing. You'll start out in a short national series, followed by the Entry Karts Championship. Each round features a sprint race and a main race. Points are scored by the top 8 finishers. Bonus points are awarded for fastest qualifying time and fastest race lap time. The pit lane is open for refueling, repairs, and tire changes. It's time to start your karting career.
Cool. Yeah, I actually have to see that earlier, but it's good that I... Okay, well, I guess I just continue on track. That's what I meant to do. Okay, so this is the kart championship. Cool. That's what happened. Time. Okay, we're good. Plenty of time. That's putting me into a good position. I like that. Oh man. I think this is a new track.
Green, green, green. Go, go, go.
Get on our line, I guess. Oopsie. Oop, 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 oop. Mistakes were made. Horrifying. Man, this is a narrow track. Oh, hey buddy. What are you doing? Oop, okay. Alright, we're learning. Learning the track. Learning the track. Man, this track is crazy. Oh, I tried to cut that a little too severely. Sorry, guys. Sorry. My bad. Oh, also my bad. Man, that back and forth chicane stuff is just crazy. These things. It's like being strapped to the back of a bumblebee. Alright, I'm starting to get a feel for it. I could have done that a lot better. Sorry, buddy. Screwed us both up there. Oh man, read that. That hairpin to the right. This is a more than 2-lap race, obviously. Oh no, I guess not. I guess we just hadn't reached the start-finish line. Alright, well, obviously we're redoing that, but at least I have a better idea of the lay of the track now. This is a wild little
It's
one
the
here.
first race of the championship. Try and bring it back in one piece and get some good points.
I promise nothing. This is Sparta with go-karts. Ooh, I think I got tapped a little there. I got tapped a little. Back around. Oh, that was just going over the turn there that did that. Caught a little bit of air, and that was just enough to make my wheels come back down at a severe angle. Spin me out. Definitely need some more practice on the track. Oh, 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 nothing good. Nothing good is happening right now.
This is the final lap of the race. See if you can take that guy in front of you, otherwise just bring it back in one piece.
Oh, they're so disappointed. You can hear it in their voice. They're like, man, who let this guy drive? They can't even hope for anything good. Makes me sad. Oh man, got too frisky on the throttle there. A little delayed reaction on that going under the overpass sound effect. That was kind of funny. I'm sure all of this collision and shredding the tires is screwing up my handling too. So I can't even really judge the handling of the cart properly at this point because I've trashed it so thoroughly. Definitely going to do this one again. Alright.
It's the first round of the championship. There'll be a lot of newcomers, a lot of mistakes. Let's try and pull some points and make it a good one.
Notice how he said lots of mistakes, as if he had just watched the replay of my last race. Like, yeah, I know what to expect here. Guy's gonna screw this whole thing up. Haha, you didn't expect that, did you? Nobody expects that. Till it happens. Ooh, ooh. I might actually be better off following this guy, honestly, because I think probably running a better line. Ooh. Oh, okay. I guess I'll follow him too. The third wouldn't be terrible. Oh, I zoned out just for a split second there, and that was enough to screw the whole thing up. I thought there was one less back and forth in that series of turns than there actually was. I thought we were done after that turn.
It's the first round of the championship. There'll be a lot of newcomers, a lot of mistakes. Let's try and pull some points and make it a good one.
Too much braking. Too much braking. Excessive braking, never good. Excessive braking, never good. Alright. Okay, that was better. That was better. Oop, oop. Bloop. Blip blop bloop. Blip blippity bloppity bloop.
Gap to the leader now, just 5 seconds. He knows you're there.
Screwed that up at the end there. Kind of lost the line. I think I still managed third, so we'll take that. We will take that. Alright. I think that's actually enough go-kart / career mode for now. I'm getting a little burnt out on it. It's a little twitchy for my state of mind at the moment. I think I may back out of here and try to do something a little less insane. I actually wouldn't mind doing some practice sessions on some of the tracks that I'm not as familiar with, just to get a little more familiarity with them. Here. Yeah, let's do a free practice. Let's see. Start at the top, shall we? And let's pick something reasonable but different from what we've shown already. There. That Beamer looks pretty reasonable. See what some of these tracks look like, shall we?
Go, go, go!
You're not the boss of me. I'm only going because I want to. Oh man, turned into that pretty hard and it was still not enough. Interesting. I don't know how it thinks I'm supposed to be able to take that turn at that speed, but that was very interesting interpretation of the race line there. Or that copy sound thing. Definitely need to fix that. Definitely need to fix that. I can imagine that kind of causing all sorts of issues in multiplayer. I don't know that I believe this racing line. It's telling me lies. It's telling me it's telling me I'm Superman, apparently. I don't know that I am Superman. I don't even think I'm Clark Kent in this scenario. I think I might have to go by my own judgment of these turns, honestly. Ooh, man, she gets loose real quick. She steps out. Come on, Beamer. Come on, Beamer. Hold it. Hold it together. Eee. Totally meant to do that. Totally. Exactly what I meant to do there. Oh, more of that chop. Don't like that. Not a fan. Oh, man. I remember that. Terrible. They're not good, guys. You need to handle on that ASAP. That racing line is just an outright lie. There's no way you're taking that turn at that speed. No way. My handling's a little screwed up from going off-road there. Try to do something a little more reasonable this time. There. That's good. We stayed on the track. That's good. Ooh, baby. That was a that was perhaps not the ideal line around that corner. We go out on a limb and say that was suboptimal. Ooh, 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 she's getting happy. She's getting happy. Oh, we're mowing the lawn. Oh, mowing the lawn big time. Mowing the lawn. Stutter. That. Like. Oh. On the all this is happening. So some kind of can't even get control of the car back there. Finally. finally coming out of it. Yeah, that's not good. Not sure what's happening there, but I'm fairly certain that it's not good. Which is weird, because actually the game problem. Oh man, I can't even lag. When I first saw this occur, that it must be some sort of memory leak. Then it's weird because it'll be bad. Like, although it's now it's gotten so bad here, and it seems like. I'm just gonna sit here and wait for my controller to stop vibrating. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background, but this is my Xbox One controller just constantly vibrating right now as I'm sitting here. Giving my hand a nice massage. Okay, there, it just finally stopped. Alright, so let's see if I... Okay, so the sound's gone back to normal. We're not don't seem to be dropping any frames anymore. I'm really starting to wonder if there's some correlation between the force feedback on the Xbox One controller and these frame rate and audio dropping issues that we're having, because it really seems like there's some correlation there. It's almost like the rumble, the calls to the controller to rumble are like, it's sending out so many of them that it's like saturating the machine or something, and then they just build up until it can't take it anymore, and it starts freaking out. And then once the rumbling finally stops on the controller after you've been idle for like 20 or 30 seconds, then it finally goes back to normal. So that's kind of weird. And the thing is, like, when your front end's out of alignment, like it is on this car here, because I took a couple of these turns poorly, you're getting a little bit of rumble all the time. So what I feel like is happening is that this rumble's just building and building as I'm driving around the track, and then it just keeps getting worse and worse to the point where it becomes uncontrollable. Yeah, man, this car's alignment is just toast. You know, let me just restart this session and see if that clears it up at all. I bet it will. I bet if I don't hit anything and I don't start that like cascade of rumble kind of feeding on itself, it'll be fine. So again, like, as long as my driving is clean and I don't make any mistakes, it seems like this issue doesn't really rear itself. But then as soon as you overcook it or hit something, the issue starts to build up over time. I'm getting like even like a faint rumble in the controller right now, just driving normally down the road, and now it finally just stopped. Like after about 10 seconds of driving in a straight line without any reason for it to be rumbling. I feel like there's some correlation between the force feedback implementation on the controller and dropping frames and clipping audio and stuff on this PC version. There's something going on here that I can't quite put my finger on. Definitely happening. Yeah, so you go off road. if I stop and wait for the rumbling to stop, everything will get back to normal. So it's still rumbling, still rumbling, still rumbling, still rumbling. Controller's still vibrating. Vibrating like crazy. Waiting for it to stop. Okay, there, it finally stopped. Now let's see if when I pull out of here it's smooth. Frame rate and audio again. Yep. Yeah, that's what it is. It's as soon as the rumbling on the force feedback on the controller starts to go haywire, it affects the frame rate and sound of the game. So there's definitely something that needs to be addressed there for sure. Yeah, because what's happening is like the rumble effects are triggering, but then they keep going long after they should have stopped. Like once you get back on the road and you're back on smooth tarmac, the rumbling just keeps going for several seconds, like 10, 20, sometimes 30 seconds after it should have stopped. And then if you keep hitting more things, drive or whatever, hang on top of it. You know, hit first learning to control the game, you're going to do that a lot. So seems like kind of a major issue that this is happening, to be honest. Again, just waiting here now for the rumbling of the controller to stop so I can actually try to drive properly again. Okay, there it goes. Now, because I've hit stuff, my front end's out of alignment, but that's not actually producing rumble at the moment, so I think I'll be okay. I just have to kind of compensate for this front end being out of whack. Yeah, so there was some mild rumbling there while I was on the grass, which is continuing even though I'm back on pavement. I'll tell you when the controller actually stops rumbling. You can see it's affecting things like the frame rate and the audio or the audio cutting out. So I've been on pavement this whole time. Now it finally just stopped rumbling right there. Okay, I think I've made the point that there's an issue here. I don't think there's any reason to belabor it. Let's see if it's let's see if the issue is unique to this track. That might be a good thing to test. Drop out of this session, try a different track, same car. Let's see. We'll keep the same car, go to a different track, and then we'll go back to Monza with a different car and see if it still has that issue. Oh man, this thing is narrow. Oh man, this thing is a handful, even at slow speed. Yeah, steering is super twitchy. The rear end just wants to break loose at the drop of a hat. Like even traveling in a straight line, if you goose it at the wrong moment, it just goes crazy. That wasn't good. Yeah, that rumbling is persisting way after the contact is over. Like way after you're not running into anything anymore, you're still getting various levels of rumble. I gotta say, like, I don't know if it's this car, per se, or what the deal is, but I feel like for whatever reason, these last couple of sessions I've done, like, the steering has just been terrible. And I feel like maybe is this car. Because I wasn't having this problem, at least not to this extent, with the go-karts and even the Clio. I feel like this thing handles a little bit like a boat. Let me switch back to Leo. There we go. Try this again. I mean, honestly, this car should be a better fit for a course this tight anyway, but I just want to see my basic steering sensitivity. Yeah, this is a lot tighter. Or I guess I should say it's more one-to-one than the Beamer. Like, it seemed like the dead zone on the stick when I'm driving the BMW was it was like it was 40% of the stick movement from center. Whereas on this, it's like as soon as I start moving the stick off center, I can feel that the car is at least trying to turn. Whereas like the BMW, it was like nothing, 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 and then all of a sudden it was like fishtailing. So there's definitely some difference in the sensitivity, or not even sensitivity, that's the wrong word. It's not that the sensitivity is different, it's that the dead zone is different from car to car with the controller. Like this has almost no dead zone, this Clio, whereas the BMW had like 30 to 40% of the area around the center stick was like a dead zone. I'm sure there's all sorts of tweaking you could do on the controls, but I'm just kind of looking at it from the perspective of what the defaults are doing at the moment. Kind of feeling it out. Very pretty track. Or a very pretty rendition of, I believe this is Monaco street circuit. Not mistaken. Ow, quit it. I don't think this is necessarily the right track for me to be testing steering on, though, because it's pretty demanding under the best of circumstances. Let's actually go back to Monza with this car. That'll be a better kind of one-to-one. I want to see if I can turn a lap without any frame rate drops or audio clipping, if I can manage to stay on the road and not hit anything, because that'll pretty much conclusively determine whether the force feedback is contributing to those issues. I mean, I guess the other thing I could do is I could disable the force feedback and just see if that gets rid of the frame rate drops and the sound cutting out. Man, I can't even stay on the road with this thing. That's ridiculous. Turn is ridiculous. Like, that much braking, I should have been able to make that. So we went off a little bit there and got a little bit of rumble, but we didn't actually impact anything. We are getting some of that sound clipping and a little bit of frame drop though from that rumble triggering, so see if I can make this next turn cleanly, because this is where it usually goes crazy. Yeah, so I didn't go off-road here at all. I'm still getting a little rumble though, which is weird. Still getting that clipping, frame rate dropping, but it's not nearly as bad as it was in the Beamer. So there's definitely a correlation between that stuff and how much you hit things or go off-road. Like, there's definitely a connection there. No question about it. We're probably going to drop a bunch of frames now from that little off-road excursion. Yeah, there's the cutout. It's interesting too because it's kind of delayed, right? Like, it doesn't happen way earlier. It was all perfectly smooth until I started going off the track, and then like 10 seconds later, 15 seconds later is when you get the audio drops and the frames dropping and all that. Good incentive to stay on the track, that's for sure. Pretty little bug. Pretty nasty. And this is, by the way, I can tell you for sure, this has nothing to do with the fact that I'm streaming this. This does this when OBS isn't on. So don't think it has anything to do with that. It's something the game just does in its current form. I'm almost tempted to go plug my wheel into this and just see what happens there. Like, if the force feedback on the wheel does the same thing, has that same kind of cumulative deleterious effect. Try to stay on the road here and not trigger any rumble. I did get some other things braking, and even that was enough to trigger some stutter through this section. It's like, even if you drive cleanly, you can't completely avoid it. Like, I didn't go off-road there at all, but I still got some of that. I just can't imagine that happening during a race. I mean, that would just mess you up all kinds of different ways. So much of this is about timing, right? It's about getting everything down to the second or the millisecond of like doing things, and having the game hitch up or sound cut out unexpectedly is just going to throw you off. That's a pretty big deal, I think. Yeah. obviously it's going to get really difficult to continue playing this, especially on stream, if that can't get sorted out pretty soon. Hopefully I'm not the only hopefully I'm not the only person showing this off, and hopefully they're getting enough data from seeing this to figure out what might be causing it. But again, like I say, I'm pretty sure it's connected to force feedback. And again, I'm using an Xbox One controller here, so that may be part of the equation. But yeah, I think that may do it for now for this. I kind of don't see much point in continuing, honestly, with the things being the way they are. Kind of want to just maybe give them a couple of days. Like, I'm not going to be streaming again until Monday anyway. I'll just give them some time to maybe put out a patch and see if that addresses the issue. And if that's the case, as soon as I can get the game to a point where that isn't happening anymore, I guess I'll stream it some more and let you guys know. But for right now, that's something you may want to consider if you're thinking about picking the game up. That seems to be an issue for right now on this PC version, if you're using an Xbox One controller at least. So anyway, good times. We'll definitely keep you guys posted on what's going on with this. I can't imagine that they're not going to address this issue, so I'm not too terribly concerned about it. But I like I say, I feel like it's something that probably should get addressed sooner rather than later. And hopefully I'll have good things to report about that next week. But until next time, this has been Project Cars. I will catch you all later.